Second time I'm going to try the live tonight. If this doesn't work, there won't be a live tonight. But it seems like it's working now. Okay, great. In that case, I'm going to wait until people join us for the live chat. Otherwise, I'm just going to make paint on my own and going to talk to the camera all by myself. But hopefully, some of you will join me. I'm going to get a cup of tea. I'm going to be right back. Like I said, in the meantime, feel free to join. Though if you're not here, that's kind of hard to hear. Ah, there's Paolo. Good evening, Paolo. Great to see you. I'm going to get a cup of tea anyway. Luckily, it was already waiting for me in the kitchen. Hey, Sandra. Thanks for joining. I'm gonna have a look in the meantime. What would be the wisest thing to make? Any preferences for paint to make tonight? That's okay, Paolo. I might have an idea for something. Oh, sorry for the noise. Okay, before I start making this, I need to check something else first. In the meantime, I'm just gonna promote some stuff I made. So a while back, I introduced the Dirty Blue Junior palette, and what that is a palette with paints that are made with mixes. So it's kind of with the idea of kind of student quality paint. And it's not all mixes though, but I'm just taking one of these palettes as an example. Some of them are single pigment paints, others are mixes to make it more affordable for me to offer. And so this is basically kind of your mixing tray, which also functions as a lid, dirty blue. And the black, the ultramarine, the ochre, and the whites aren't mixes. The rest of them are, to keep it a little bit more affordable. But you know, these are the paints directly swatched, including a white. So I'm quite happy with the result. And I made this because I noticed that my girls were actually really disappointed in the mixes they made with the paint that they used. And I recognized so much in their behavior from what I had as a kid. I was actually really bummed to you know, play with paint and just see just it mix into mud. So that made me kind of have a look at things in a different way, having kids myself now. And actually, Paolo, yes. So the first reactions I had on this were quite positive, in a way that people actually said this would be like high quality student paint instead of, you know, what I would call it just, you know, kids paint. Because I'm literally using the same binder as I'm using in my professional line of paint. Some of them are single pigments, like I said, the black, the ultramarine, the white. And might be even one more, I'm not quite sure. I don't think, maybe the brown, not quite sure about that. So yeah, hey, welcome. Great of you to join us. So I'm really glad about, you know, how this is a nice kind of feature as well. So it's really easy to replace these round pens, you know, and when you're done with them and you cleaned off the lid, you can kind of close it. And all the pens need to be aligned though, since it's a weird shape, but there you go. Like I said, in the meantime, I'm looking for some things. Yeah, I wanted it to be a playful shape, something that is easily recognized as something that isn't part of my professional line of paint. But you know, has kind of a playful feel to it as well, because of its nature. So I'm going to make Dirty Blue exclusive, because I have been making some new ones, but I also noticed that I'm kind of in need of the pigment mix. So these are some dirty blues I've been playing with. This is the exclusive one. This is my dirty blue. This is the regular mix that I have. This is the exclusive one. And this was a dirty yellow I've been working on. So this is separating, granulating. I'm not even going to start a discussion, or maybe even the topic. Just saying that in advance, Paolo. Sorry about that. But you know, the Dirty Blue exclusive, it's a mix of limonite and lazurite, lapis lazuli. So It has more texture than my regular dirty blue as well. It's a bit deeper in mass tone. It separates a bit, well, more textured. So I really like that one. Plus, you know, it's made with the more expensive, genuine materials. So for those of you who are joining us, please give the like a thumbs up so it will be suggested to more people who either follow me or not follow me already. Sorry, I needed to make more of the mix, but I needed to find a bottle of my homemade unpurified lapis, which I'm using for this. I don't want it to be too blue, since it's gonna be dirty blue, but I want it to be genuine lapis lazuli. Should we make? We can make some more. Probably. Can we though? Need to check this. That is going to be difficult. Sorry guys, I'm just kind of looking at. Yeah, I don't have a lot of mix pens anymore, so I need to print them. But that's okay, I'll make some more dots, which I have more than enough of. No, but Paolo, that's okay. It's I really actually enjoyed the talk. Let me just call it like that. The talk we had about it last time, because you know there is a difference between artistic and scientific names, you know, or ways of describing things, and it's good that someone kind of points out the differences. So this will be kind of noisy, but I know some of you like it. very noisy. Also, just to show you live, the most pigmented pen ever. I really had some people thinking that this was a serious product that I made for my April Fool's video, which was kind of fun, but also I felt kind of bad since I really, you know, the enthusiasm of some people was kind of really like, sorry about it, guys. Yeah, like I said, it's gonna be noisy. So when you're, you know, scooping up the, let's call it just a dry pigment, this is rather blue. You know, if we can create more light, rather blue. You see how strong the limonite is. When I'm starting to mull it, this really becomes a dirty blue like this. Yeah, the printed pen was actually kind of a successful experiment. I know you can color resins with alcohol inks, for instance, so that's why I dissolved it in alcohol, or dissolved it, but you know, I mixed it with alcohol. But that was, you know, that was good. It is quite fragile, you know, comparing it with an FDM printed pen like this. A resin printed pen is quite fragile, so especially mixed with pigment. So I wouldn't really use it for my, you know, regular line of paint. Also, it's really, you know, labor intensive when you need to clean, spray, and, you know, finish all the pens by hand, which is not necessary for the regular pens. Also, I forgot to kind of add that to my studio tour, but the regular pens that I have, these are printed with recycled plastic. So I use recycled PLA for it, which stands for polylactic acid, and they call it a bioplastic because it's biodegradable, but only under certain circumstances. So it's not really, if you throw them in the garden, that these will turn into compost or anything, but it's environmentally friendlier than plastics made out of oils or any kind of fossil source. Also, I use recycled PLA, which means it is the biodegradable polylactic acid, which has been used for other stuff, or maybe other prints which have been recycled, and, you know, I make pens out of that. So just to think about the environment a bit where it can. Same as the resin that I use. It says it's eco-friendly resin, but it's kind of plant-based as well. Although it's not like harmless when you touch the pure resin, so it's not like eco-friendly always, you know, sounds like you can almost eat it or drink it, or it doesn't really give off any fumes, so that's good, especially, you know, in the studio that I have. You've seen it maybe in my latest video. Thanks. Yeah, it's, you know, wherever I can. I don't want it to kind of get in the way of quality. I tried making vegan binder as well. Not that I'm vegan myself, but I respect the lifestyle choices of anyone else, and you know, wherever I can, I want to make my paint available to everyone. Thing is, when I need to make my binder vegan, the only thing I need to replace is honey, and I think honey really kind of makes the feel of my paint and how it re-wets. It makes it better than the alternatives that I've tried, and like I said, I wanna offer the best possible product that I can. So if the recycled plastic were kind of more fragile, or and in a way of a lesser quality, I wouldn't have done that as well. But luckily, the recycled plastic, sorry, and the eco resin are both actually quite good choices for me. So I'm very, very happy with that. If I can ask, what did you replace the honey with? Some sugar mixtures. I tried agave syrup. I tried simple syrup, like just equals amount of water and sugar. I even tried one with maple, but I like maple syrup too much for it to throw in binder. So that, you know, felt like something I wouldn't do. One moment, please. What else did I use? I had agave syrup. I tried a honey replacement, but I think it was literally called vegan honey on the bottle, but that was just sugar syrup with some numbers added to it, and I think some kind of gum to make it thicker, and the numbers for the color. So probably a kind of caramel that they used to color it. Yeah, I know. So yes, absolutely. But I don't know. It just feels. I don't know if it's the proportions of honey, or you know, the way it's composed. I've never had my binder go bad as well, which I hear a lot of from other makers when they don't put it in the fridge or let it stand for too long. And the only difference that I notice is that I use honey with most of them, at least. So that might be the honey as well. I don't know. Like I said, I've tried different versions of my binder, different proportions of everything, and the thing I ended up with now is something I'm very happy with, quite pleased with, on how my paint reactivates, re-wets, and I just couldn't do the exact same thing with other syrups, to be honest. I started, just to be clear, I started with honey. Yeah, exactly. So that's, you know, there's something more to it than just glucose and fructose. But I started with honey because it's a traditional way of making your paints re-wet easily. I've always used Sennelier, the French paint brand or art supply brand that uses a lot of honey in their watercolors. A lot of it. Might be a little bit, you know, too much for my taste. Now I have my own binder and my own watercolors. But, you know, basically I started with that because I liked how they re-wet it and the way, you know, it's traditional, and I like combining traditional things with modern things. Same with I think the rest of my studio. I think it's quite, I have some modern things, but also I'm quite traditional in some ways. I'm not going to change my binder anymore. It's like the way they re-wet now, and that's also what I get back from customers. It's something that I'm just sticking to it, and it's a shame that I can't sell my products to people who don't want to have honey in their product. Like I said, which I fully respect. So it's a shame I can't offer my paints to them, and that they can't try my paints. But yeah. I like the feel of it, how they re-wet, how they kind of flow on the paper. Oh, shaking a bit with that last dot pen. Ah, close enough. No, there it goes. It's gonna flow over, and there it goes. That's a shame. No, that's okay. That's okay. So I'm just going to swatch this for you, obviously. Shall I do it on the... yeah, I'm just going to do it on that. The Notorious, is it granulating or flocculating, or what's the difference? Is there a difference? Does the one even exist paper? Sorry to bring it up again, Paolo. Thanks. You know, that's one of the things I kind of, you know, a combination between traditional and modern. So it's a modern solution for a sample size thing, made in a way that it can be used in a traditional watercolor palette. So it's sturdy enough to be kind of put in the palette. It's like a little, yeah, it's a quarter of a mini pen, I think, embedded in a way that is just, you know, the outer lines of a half pen. So I'm really glad with that design. I made, I think, about 8 different designs, and this one was the most sturdiest and most long-lasting version, because a lot of them were too thin or too fragile, and it kind of broke when I took them out of the palette like 3 or 4 times. I'm trying to put them in them out, in them out, in them out, and loads of them already broke like the second time. So I'm doing quality control on my pens as well. At least I try to do that as much as possible. Sometimes with big batches, they're just pens that kind of fail and I oversee it, or I kind of miss that. To be honest, that only happens with very big batches. I always try to add more pens to those orders, since there's always, you know, it's still, 3D printing is still something that with its flaws, and so this is a more grayish version of Dirty Blue, and I really need to have a wetter brush for it. But this, as the other, will separate beautifully when it's drying. So note that this is made with lapis lazuli and limonite. I actually need to swatch it a little bit more wet with on a thicker paper. And I think it really gets, it can show its quality a bit better. But as it dries, you'll see that it's slowly starting to separate. You slowly see the yellow and blue separating where it does, you know, where it did here. You slowly see that happening here as well, where it goes from a gray to a separating genuine mineral paint. So I made this paint for my Ko-fi, a crowdfunding that I started for the spectrometer I use during my videos and lives, and, you know, the NYX spectrometer that you have probably seen either here or in my videos. And as you can hear, I really need to refill my water bottle, because that really doesn't help me. So I made my Dirty Blue exclusive, and a large part of the money I made with the Dirty Blue exclusive, actually all of it, went into the goal for my crowdfunding. But I've kept the color, since the feedback was quite, it was very positive, and people like to use it. And I actually enjoy making it now and then. But I want to keep it an exclusive color, so it won't be in stock always. I always try to keep it dot, but you can clearly see the separation happening now. You can clearly see the difference between the warmer and the cooler tones, I think, would be the best way to describe it. Almost like a raw piece of lapis lazuli itself. Almost. As this dries, I'm going to refill my water bottle. I'll be right back. Is the volume low? I really actually can't change the volume, so that's weird. I have to say, I was okay. Yeah, no, I was in the kitchen, so anything you heard over there was me speaking to my cat. One of them, at least. So you see the separation happening here. I'm just going to put this to the side so it can dry without me spraying water all over it. I'm streaming with my phone, and I have an external microphone, so I'm always or else I'm hanging with my head over the microphone of my phone, and I'll be yelling most of the time. At least that's what it would sound like. So that's why I have an external microphone hanging above my desk, and I really can't adjust the volume on that one, so. Or quality, or anything else. I just need to work with what I have. So, and for me, that's working fine. Hopefully, it's working fine for everyone else right now as well. So it's separating more and more and more. Still, I'm going to let this dry. Okay. So there's some other people that have joined us in the meantime. What shall I make next? Any suggestions? Some kind of orange. Yes. I think I have some pens that I need to fill with the last layer. You've never checked my shop? Really, Paolo? Where's the support here? No, I'm sorry. I'm glad you're always joining us here, or most of the times. So my shop and my YouTube are two separate things. But feel free to just see what I have, and maybe it can give you some inspiration on suggestions for the next live. Anyone else who has any idea of the paints I actually sell? To be honest, you know, loads of things I've made during my life, I don't even sell them, so, or not yet. They're not yet in my shop. I can make something, for instance, that also not yet in my shop, and I wasn't planning on selling it anytime soon, but I do like the pigment. But before I start saying with what that would be, I need to check if I have pens of that pigment first. If I don't have pens for it, I'm not going to make it. Since I actually want to sell it, I don't think I have pens for it, to be honest. That's black, that's brown, PBK 14, PBK 7, PBK, no, that's not it, no, I don't have that one. Oh, you're checking out my shop. Thanks. Also all printed with recycled plastic. Yeah, we can do this. We can do this. Let's top off some oranges. PO62 Benzie Orange. Hello, welcome. Good evening. How much wood we need? One and a half. So we are now making Benzie Orange PO62. It's my go-to orange when I just need a orange that mixes well, comparable with other colors in my palette, that isn't too strong of an orange. And with that, I mean how chromatic PO73 would be, for instance, Spiral Orange. Though I really like that as a mixer, it really overpowers a lot. It's the most chromatic pigment that I have, and the most chromatic pigment as a dry pigment there is. If you make an order, Paolo, of paint, I will throw in a swatch template for you. I don't know if it makes it more tempting or less tempting. If anyone else is interested, let me know. For those of you who have placed a pre-order, that's still open. And if you're in my live chat here, I will throw you a swatch template in your order as well. Just because of how supportive everyone is during the live chats, and you know, outside of that in the comments or direct messages or anything. I really appreciate it. All, you know, though, if you make an order now, Paolo, or dropping things here, or at any time, just, you know, write a little note to it that I promised you a swatch template to make sure I don't forget it. Since there are times I'm not looking at, you know, who ordered it until I'm printing the labels, and then, you know, I sometimes tend to forget. So please remind me. So which orange would be your go-to orange when you have to choose? Or maybe a mix of pigments, or a orange that you like to mix with certain colors. Okay, Transbaba, which is there any pigment number or a mix, or is that brand specific? PO107. Is that the one only that one brand makes? That's a brand specific one, isn't it? Yeah, I think yeah. Oh, Aquarius as well. Is that on my list? Oh, it's on my list. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I'm kind of, you know, keeping a list with pigments that I don't have. Yeah, exactly. It's that one. Though I am in contact with Roman about the pigments that I don't have in my collection, and he was willing to help me with it, but I still need to reply since I'm kind of still making a list, and maybe he can get some pigments that aren't in his line of paint as well. But there's just some things I want to compare, and it's not even that I want to offer him in my shop. Yeah, absolutely. It's not that I'm kind of, you know, any competition for his brand, I think. Not in the skill I'm working on right now. But then again, I don't have a physical shop. I don't have any employees, and I'm quite, you know, happy with the things I'm building on right now. So it's no complaining. usually don't do this, but seeing this on my slab, we can make some more of it. It's a sticky orange. There you go. It's a happy orange, yeah. For me, this is like the orange. It's not like the fruit orange. I think that's a little deeper. But it's also not, you know, like I said, PO73 is a orange that has a high tinting strength, but also it's almost towards scarlet, where this doesn't really, for me, it doesn't really lean towards yellow. It doesn't really lean towards, oh, that was a nasty sound. It doesn't really lean towards red. This is just orange. And yeah, I'm Dutch. This is a quite a Dutch orange. Although there is a version of PO43 I have that was more like a football Dutch orange. The orange that you see in football stadia. It's more fluorescent than this is. But you know, there's one thing with, you know, saying this is an orange, and it's not leaning towards yellow. I have a pan of Indian yellow, for instance, here, and this is a pan of Indian yellow that I still need to kind of fill with the last layer. But it's quite close in how Indian yellow dries and how, you know, this pigment is in its wet state. You wouldn't say this is a bright yellow. You know, my benzie yellow, that's a bright yellow in the pen. PY 154, and this is PY 153. My Indian yellow, my benzie yellow. But the benzie orange, it's quite close to Indian yellow in its hue, in its wet state, compared to Indian yellow when it's dried in the pen. So I really need to look at the pen sometimes before I refill it, because my Indian yellow is it's a nickel yellow that has been discontinued since 2012. Although you might have seen it in my studio tour, I have quite a large amount of the pigment. I didn't really kind of point to it, but the big jars of, you know, the plastic jars of sminke were the Indian yellow I just showed you. And I kind of stocked up on that. I kind of Daniel Smithed that pigment, I think. Although not on the scale that they do it. For instance, quinacridone, burnt orange. But it should last me a long time. Thanks, Paolo. That's quite a big compliment. Thank you very much. I don't know if that says something about my video or about your week, but I'm just taking that as a compliment. Maybe both, but I really hope it says more about my video than about your week. There's a large difference between the last paint I made and this one when it comes to noise. This isn't noisy at all. It might be sticky-ish, but like this, smooth as butter, not making a noise. And I'm actually using quite a lot of pressure on my muller. Can you see it on my hand, like relaxed hand? And yeah, you can see it. Well, you know, it's the end of the week, so forget about the week if you can. I know there's always things that you just can't forget about that easily, but feel free to re-watch the video if that makes you feel better. Or if you just want to, you know, nitpick and see if you missed anything. For instance, that barrel of red earth. Yes, I'm gonna show that once. I promise I will show that. Not during this live though, I'm sorry. But I will show it soon. You were mad. Now I almost feel bad. Almost. Oh, trust me, I have enough stuff that I can show you, or you know, just pigments. I didn't show all the pigments. You saw the cupboard, the old one. It's actually full of rows and rows of pigments. Some of them are like 5 bottles of pigments behind each other. So I have enough on that area to show everyone. And when it comes to the tools that I have, or you know, the things like the barrel or anything. No, don't. Oh yes, it's spilled. This only happens when I work in the evening. That's why I actually prefer not to work in the evening. But there's been a time where I was thinking of things, especially when it came to the 3D designs and the pans, that I thought, you know, just I need to take it easy with the ideas and throwing stuff out there, because I'm really afraid I'm going to run out of ideas. But then again, there were some people copying a lot of ideas that I came up with. So yeah, I was kind of anxious to not share my ideas, because some people just have more time to execute them, right? So to work on them. So like me sharing an idea and then not being able to work on it makes it possible for other people to release them first. So I was kind of anxious about that. But then, you know, I thought my creativity just really doesn't end anywhere. I stopped making art, I stopped painting, I stopped drawing, just to focus on making paint. And I noticed that making paint, designing the pans, thinking of new products were an outlet for my creativity, enough to keep going and keep coming up with new ideas. And every time I thought, okay, you know, after this I really don't know it anymore, within a month or within a week I had a new idea, and I still have lists of ideas that I don't have time for to execute, to just make them and do them, which is a shame. but the list also keeps growing. So maybe I'll just cancel some ideas and think, you know, some are better, some aren't even worth the time or energy. So I'm saving up for later, but also, you know, I'm sharing as much as I can. And yes, it's messed up. And welcome to the chat. I really don't know how to pronounce your username. Especially at this time of day. Yeah, but like I said, I'm just sharing everything, and the April Fool's video was one that I had in my mind for over a year. So that was kind of, or not over a year, just I think a month shy of a year. I literally put that in my phone to give me an alarm a week before the 1st of April to shoot that video. And actually that idea grew with, you know, the pen made with pigment, and yeah, that was one of the things, you know, I came up with. Another thing that I came up with recently, let me have a look, what else did I, oh yeah, the golden ticket, you know, obviously that's one I've done before. A golden ticket as a kind of giveaway, but not the prize. So the brick pen was one of those ideas. So let's just, you know, how can I make Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Willy Wonka, a lifetime supply of dirty blue? How can I make that in a way that I can visually and physically show that to people? So I came up with an enlarged 3D printed version of my regular half pens. And in case you're wondering, for those obviously as well, I tested it out before I started filling one, but oh, I'm dropping one half pen. I'm not sure where it is right now. This is it. Like, this is the empty brick pen, and this is a regular half pen. So this was one of the more fun things to come up with, but I had to keep this a secret before for my giveaway. But I really enjoyed, really enjoyed making this. Thinking of it. It can absolutely be used as a bowl. Yes, why not? Is it pronounced ID, or do I mess it up? Or it can be used as a mug, yes. Although I wouldn't put any hot liquids in it, since it kind of deforms quite easily. Okay, ID it is. Oh, sorry guys, kind of my rib and my back start to hurt, and making paint isn't the best idea to do right now for me, but I'm really bad at just sitting still and not doing anything. I'm not using that. There was a speck of dust on my palette knife, so I'm not going to use that. Yeah, sure. Do whatever needs to be done. I hope the dog is okay though. You might not able to hear me right now, but I'll ask it when you come back. And is it okay for Bloody Oaththorn? I think that's what it says. To just call you Bloody or anything else. Want to react on you. Oh, that's good to hear. Okay, makes life a little bit easier for me. Not that you're making it hard for me, but you get my point. Hopefully. Let's have a look. Just going to use the dirty cloth from the paint I made before to do the rough cleaning work. And who else is with us? I'm wondering. Is there any way to see that? Who is watching? Because I see 4 people in the live chat, and there's Heidi, there's Bloody, there's Paolo. Obviously there's me, but I'm not watching. Thank you, Paolo. He knows what I'm talking about. No, it's Benzie Orange. So I can show you with a dot. So I have a dry dot of Benzie Orange here and a dry dot of Indian Yellow. So here's the difference, but I'll swatch these for you, okay? I'll swatch these next to each other so you can appreciate the difference a bit better. I'm literally using my palette knife, which I just cleaned my... Oh, okay, focus. Yeah, I just said thank you, Paolo. I appreciate it. I haven't seen like what you ordered yet, since that would mean me closing the live stream. But no matter what you ordered, I really appreciate it. And I hope the dog is okay-ish. You know, meds kind of mean probably isn't the most okay-ish it could be, but Okay, I will just try to remind it. Okay. Just remind me of it every time I go live before I send it. No, I promised it. I promised it. So I'll do it. So, like I said, what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you the difference between Indian yellow and Benzie orange quickly. I'm just going to show you. I might throw Benzie yellow in there as well. Let me just grab a dot of that. So these are my these are in my mixing palette. This is kind of an extra. I like to add for myself in the mixing palette. Like I said, just because I like this orange as an orange. It's not a red leaning orange, it's not a yellow leaning orange. For me, this is a orange, which is the most unprofessional way, I think, to describe an orange, but you get what I mean. Although if you think I mean orange, that it's like the fruit, I don't mean that. That was the most vague monologue I've had in a long time. And I have 5 witnesses. I'm so sorry for that. You ordered some oranges and blues, including some dirty blue. Thank you very much. I will look at your order as soon as I close this live. So let me grab a piece of paper. I have a clean brush here. I have a piece of cloth. I'm just in need for a piece of paper. And I actually thought I had more paper ready, actually, so I'm just going to look for that. Oh yeah, here it is. Before I tear up any new paper, which is fine, but okay, so let's re-wet this yellow first, and a drop of this on that, and a drop of this on that, and these aren't going to be the best swatches, but I just want to make it kind of a visual comparison between the 3 next to each other. So you see the Indian yellow changes a lot when it's, I don't know if it's visible on camera though, but it changes a lot when it's wetted. And next to the Benzie yellow, it actually looks like an orange. At least for me, here it does. Until we put the orange next to it, which is orange. Well, that's a surprise. And if you think, okay, but what would, I don't know, say, yeah, the bowl of Indian yellow, but even that very small sample I had of from Cornelissen, they sent that to me in an envelope, and it was in a little plastic zipper bag, and there was a that was wrapped in plastic, and that was inside a bubble plastic envelope. As soon as I opened the envelope, I could smell it. I could smell, okay, yeah, they sent me the real thing. So Yeah, that bowl smells like that as well. Have you ever watched Blade Runner 49? Seems like the palette of the Las Vegas desert scenes. I have actually, and now you say yes, it kind of does. Yeah, yeah, you're absolutely right. Never thought of that. Let me just show you what quinacridone gold does next to this, just because, you know, we can. So why not do it? Quinacridone gold P049. There we go. Anything else I can show next to this? Let me have a look. Let me have a look. I'm talking to myself, I know. Okay, so there was some wet benzy orange somewhere on something, and I'm not quite sure. Oh, I might have touched it when I put the... Yeah, okay, so that was next to the quinacridone gold. Let me just look for something real quick. Kind of looking at the options that I have here. I can show this as well. So, next to that, let me show you what yellow ochre does. Just so I can give you a quick view of some yellows that I have. Though I was actually looking for PY150, but I don't seem to have that as a dot or in my drying rack at the moment. So that might be the next paint I'm going to make. I need a little bit more pigment of the yellow ochre. There we go. There we go. So yellow ochre, more earthy, more toned down than the quinacridone gold. And one that really doesn't belong here in this line. But it's yellow pigment, so I'm going to do it anyway. PY129. Green gold. And I say it really doesn't belong here, but when I lay down a wash like this, it's really bright yellowish paint. But you know, there comes the olive. So. Yellows. Now PY129 green gold, you can use that basically same as nickel azo yellow, PY150. It's a little bit cooler, obviously, whereas PY150 is more like a mustard in its mass tone. This is more like an olive in its mass tone. But when you're mixing them, they mix quite similar, in a similar way, with similar results, only, you know, one leaning more towards the cooler side and the other one leaning more towards the warmer or even more muted yellow side. It can mix bright acid greens, absolutely can, yeah. We did the PG10, right? The PG10 with, what's that, PG10? Yeah, we mixed the yellow with PG10 and PO62 or PO73. Sorry for that. I kind of lost what we did there in the live, but the PG10 is the predecessor of this one. It's actually a bit more vivid even. We mixed a bright yellow with that, so with an orange and that. I think these two actually. Don't say anything more, I'm already gonna try it with this one. I don't know if someone was going to say anything about that, but let me just try. Okay, so let's just put a drop of orange here. And let's mix a green gold with that as well. And let's see if this is going to give us a yellow that is as bright as the one that we mixed. Oh, this is really hard to see now, actually. Okay, don't use a glass plate as a palette for watercolors. But yeah. That's actually acting in a very similar way. I know I shouldn't swatch like this, I'm destroying my paper and such and so forth, but this is a bright yellow, yeah. So when we're, it does clean up quite easily though. Comparing it with the others, or let me just put it next to these two since we mixed these. That's a good yellow. But you know, my goal for the live was to mix a green pigment with an orange pigment, and technically this is a yellow pigment. But yeah, PG10 is the predecessor of this one. It's the same hue, a little bit more chromatic maybe. Not even sure about that when I see this. So anyways, these were some yellows and oranges. And I think I'm going to wash my hands since there was a benzy orange that was leaking. And I'm also thinking I'm going to end the live stream. Guys, I really enjoyed it. Thanks again, Paolo, you as well, or you as well, you mostly in the chat. Bloody, if you're still here, thanks for joining. ID, thanks for joining. Thanks for the company as well. Hope you like it. And if you kind of missed anything in my studio tour, let me know. I can see what I can do for another video. Thank you, Bloody. Yeah, it's kind of, you know, apart from ending the live stream, I'm going to take some painkillers again. So I have a bit, my night will be a bit like better, hopefully. Like I said, for my last video, the studio tour, if you miss anything or if you want to know more about certain things you've seen, let me know. I will let these dry. We need a video for each color family of pigments. Yeah, I know. I have some interesting ideas. Shall I share one idea I want to do here or not? A poisonous one with a mask. It's really hard to do a video with a mask on, you know that. Yeah, I can do a voiceover, I know. Okay, I'm going to think about that. I want to make a series of videos about this color. And not only this pigment, but this color. So I'm not going to say more. I'm going to leave it at that. But I have a very interesting idea about that and what to do with it. but I might need some help of people who have access to dry pigments as well, because I have the original one. I have like genuine Indian yellow, but I might miss some things for that still. I'm sure you will like this. I don't know if you've ordered. Did you order this palette? And I'm going. Did you order the PY 153? Let me have a look at my orders, but I might be able to add a dot for you. It might be sold out. Jane Blundell, she reviewed my paints in January, and she mentioned that I had PY 153 still, since that, no other manufacturer offers that as a paint anymore. And I sold out all my stock like within a day. So I've been making PY 153, my Indian yellow. I've been making that non-stop ever since. It goes hard, so it might be it might be sold out, but I kind of renew the listing every week or so. I'm really trying to keep up. I'm really thankful for that that happened. But it's quite, it's going quite fast whenever I put it on there. So I'm going to have a look if I have a dot left for you, or I'm just, I can send you this dot. I've used it, so you can try it out as well. In the meantime, while I was mumbling and you were reacting on it, this dried to a rather beautiful, kind of toned down. It's not an ochre. It's like way more vivid than my yellow ochre. It reminds me of a lead yellow. It's almost a Turner's yellow. It's more vivid on screen than in real life. I think the paper shines through in real life more. So yeah. Okay, now I'm really going. Thanks for everyone for sticking around to the end. Like I said, leave any comment if you missed anything, or if you want to see anything that you saw in my studio tour, or just don't and go to sleep or enjoy your day. So hopefully see you next time, guys. Thanks for joining. Bye, everyone.